I'm going to be talking about, Mayor Yvonne Akisoya. I listened to a BBC interview. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and our courage, and showing spine at times like these. When, if you look what is actually happening in Sierra Leone, all of these opposition leaders, you know, um, I mean, past and present, right? These opposition, the ones in parliament, the opposition people out there, none of these guys are actually challenging this government, and that is why I want to do this live. I want to dedicate this live today to Miss Sawyer. There is this other video that I saw that I would like to get going on, but I would leave that for another day. But today, let me do this. This is a combination of Mayor Akisoya's BBC interview and that of the neck voter register that actually was announced by Mohamed Kanawe Kone. So finally, the voter register is out. But I want to focus on Miss Mayor Akisoya and the fact that she was bold enough. So I'm about to start this interview. I want us all to listen to this interview, guys, that was done on the 26th December, by Mayor Yvonne Akisoya. Very powerful. Take notes. Get your pen, get your papers. Listen to this. Very phenomenal work. I'm going to give it to her.
So as Sierra Leone's fuel shortage continues to bite, taxi drivers in the capital, Freetown, are increasingly turning to the black market for petrol. The crippling economic situation is one of the many issues facing the country. Yet there have also been a lot of positives this year. To understand more what 2022 has been like for Sierra Leone and Freetown in particular, I'm joined by the mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Akisoya. Good morning and welcome to Newsday. Let's talk about Freetown, a mixed bag, it seems. How would you describe the year that has been?
Good morning. Good to be here. I think it's going to be important for me to start on that positive. This year was the 230th year of Freetown's existence. So we had a fantastic week-long celebration, which brought the city to life, brought people from all economic and ethnic backgrounds together in parades, in symposiums, in shows. So that was definitely a moment of positivity and of showing that Freetown is a melting pot where the whole country really has come together, and also highlighting our rich history in terms of the start of it by returned slaves from Nova Scotia. But beyond that, of course, there have been other challenges and other positives. Sticking on the positives, we've been a little bit of a light in the climate space with us winning the Bloomberg Mayor's Challenge for Freetown, the Tree Town, our innovative tree planting project, developing our climate action plan, making progress on getting a cable car, which will drastically improve transport, economic productivity, and health, and is part of our climate action plan. But the negatives, the challenges definitely have been there. This has been a year of a huge increase in fuel costs. We've seen fuel costs rise around the world, but we've also seen them drop around the world. We haven't seen them drop in Freetown, and that's really biting. The cost of electricity has gone up significantly as well, 3 times. And so from an operational perspective, as a city mayor, it's really cut into our available finances for service delivery.
It's very surprising to hear you being so sanguine. You're currently on bail and going through what has been described as a fake criminal court case, and there are national elections in 6 months. What's the reason for your optimism?
People often say, Sierra Leone is a country of resilient people. We've been through, even our Freetown's history shows that resilience. Returned slaves determined to make a new home for themselves in Africa. And then we've been through a civil war. And after that, we've gone through 3 democratic elections, and it's remained peaceful. And I believe that the Sierra Leonean people, in spite of the challenges, you're right, I am in court. I also was falsely accused on national television and radio of being an instigator of the August 10 demonstrations, which I certainly was not. So yes, it's been challenging on that level. In addition to the court, there's been the ACC, there's been the parliamentary audit, special audit, and so on. But I know that Sierra Leoneans, when the um, rubber hits the road, they are people who do believe in their freedoms, and do believe that even with the challenges, we can come through this. Elections in just under 6 months from now. And one of the most challenging aspects of that is a decision by the government to change the electoral system from first past the post to a proportional representation. And that's challenging because it's argued by pretty much everyone, and certainly by our party, that that is unconstitutional. That the conditions for a PR system, which is effectively what was used just after the war, the conditions of not having constituencies no longer exist. We have constituencies, so we shouldn't be making such a major change so close to an election. But even with that change, I think perhaps one of the most disturbing pieces for me as a city mayor is the fact that it is being used, or it is dependent on a census, which was done in 2021, a census whose numbers results claim that Freetown's population has decreased by 42.5%. This is a city bursting at the seams. It is literally overflowing with people.
So you think that the government is trying to manipulate the numbers in order to affect the elections? But just talking about that, what are the issues that are uppermost in the minds of people as they prepare to vote? You talked about fuel prices. We talked about the positives, how the country has made strides in education, but that there are some difficulties. What will people be voting for going into the new year?
I think the economy. The level of unemployment is skyrocketing. I've just explained that even at an operational level for a city, we've seen our fuel costs and our electricity costs literally prevent us from delivering services. And that translates to real hardship. People are skipping meals. I mean, there was a WFP report recently that showed that the level of poverty has increased. So people are going to be concerned about the economy, that the currency is depreciating rapidly. These are the things uppermost on people's minds. Their bread and butter. What can they eat? Where can they get jobs? What happens to the young people when they leave university? These are the things that are going to be driving people's decisions come June 2023.
Thank you so very much for talking to us, the Mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr.
Guys, that is powerful. That is powerful. I'm going to give the mayor credit on everything. I was taking notes as I was listening to everything she said. Of course, in the closing, I was just expecting, what should people be voting for? But in the heat of these interviews, you tend to, miss a few things. You cannot be able to say everything. So I'll give her that. But it's stuff like, rights to free speech, freedom of speech as an example, right? We saw what they did to the mayor, because of she's been very vocal. We saw how she was stopped, on her way to the US, the COP, climate summit and all of that. Those are the things, the harassment, the constant harassment, the fact that people are not free to speak up. It's just the freedoms of citizens have been stifled. The human rights abuses. The unconstitutional locking up of citizens. But I can understand. The mayor maybe didn't have time to get to that point. But everything she said about the fake case. I mean, the international community even knows that everything they're putting on her is all fake. It's all gimmick. It's all political. So the world has gotten to see, what Sierra Leone is going through today. And that is why the mayor's interview was so beautiful and very timely. And let me tell you guys this. The reason why I'm doing this, you see, in Sierra Leone today, when you look at what is actually happening, it is a shame when we have people in opposition, the leaders of the opposition, in 4 years, almost 5 years, they've never been able to take an interview internationally with the BBC, Voice of America, Al Jazeera, any of these international platforms where they can showcase the issues of Sierra Leone, right? You talk about leaders in the opposition, the APC, the Kande Yumkelas, especially these two factors, these two people, with everything that has happened, the killings in Sierra Leone, these guys have never taken an interview at the international level. But you'll see elections is coming. And I'm sure somebody like Kande Yumkela would have an interview at the BBC. Elections are coming. The only thing he's going to talk about is aspirations, what his visions are if he becomes president. Those are the only things he's going to talk about. He's not going to talk about the corruption that the state has been riddled with for 5 years. Massive corruption at the highest level. The forging of receipts in the office of the president. Double dipping, money laundering. They're not going to talk about all of these things, right? But Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr, she's the only person, the only serious person in opposition. I'm talking from the top ranks all the way through. She's the only one that has really taken the time to conduct interviews, even at the point where she was in the United States attending the Democracy Summit organized by Joseph Biden. Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr was the only person that mentioned the fact that, members of parliament were removed from parliament. And not only that, she reported the fact that these members of parliament, again, what happened to them? They did not even vote to replace these members of parliament. A court unilaterally made a decision to select and instill people in parliament. To this day, 10 members of parliament of the opposition.
Talk about democracy being government of the people for the people. Key to that is the people choosing their government. And one of the sort of dilemmas we've had, one of the challenges, is that we've been in a situation where in 2019, 9 elected parliamentarians were removed from parliament by a court order and replaced not by the vote of the people, but by another court order.
But yet the opposition party leader has never taken these matters up to the international community, to the BBC, the Al Jazeera, the Voice of America. Salon people, and I didn't hear how they talk about Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr as the mayor of Freetown can get interview with BBC. Tell me why the leader of the opposition cannot have an interview with BBC in 5 years. Killing na Makeni, killing na Paremba Road prisons, killing na Tonkolimba, killing na Lonsar, killings na Tombo. The imposition of the PR system, the NIN number, the NACRA, the registration that was smeared 15 days separately, all of these issues, the publications of the African Express, one after the other. The leader of the opposition in APC and Kande Yumkela, they've never taken up an interview with the international world to talk about these things. I just want to paint a picture for you guys to understand why I'm dedicating my time to Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr today. So you guys can see it's not just today. She's been doing this. You look at her Twitter page, she's active. You look at her Facebook page, she's active. This is the real opposition. I don't care what anybody says. If you have Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr, 5 of them in this current opposition, if you just get 4 more people to make it 5, Sierra Leone will be a better country. The decency of Sierra Leoneans will be restored. That is what she signifies. And that is the semblance that she brings into this picture. And that is why I want you guys to listen to that interview yourself, where she did this interview on the 26th. But this is what she represents in Sierra Leone. Imagine if all the opposition figures them, and I'm talking about the former government of the APC all the way through, if they were doing what Mayor Aki-Sawyerr was doing, the people of Sierra Leone would have gotten peace of mind and sanity for them prevail in that country. Because this is what we need. When you have an opposition that is serious and sober, just like the APC, the SLPP, when they were in opposition, they were very, very, all over the place. Protesting, talking, going to the American embassy, organizing protests constantly because these guys were serious to come into governance.
The chairman and leader of the party, Dr. Prince Harding, called for the immediate resignation of the Inspector General of Police, Francis Munu, for referring to members of the SLPP as idlers and as such cannot provide security for the electoral period, and maintained that he is disappointed at him for making such uncalled for remarks. The incident, he however maintained, has made them more robust and resilient in their campaign to winning the March 2018 general elections.
To Agi Munu, with all due respect, his statements are not reflective of voting with the expect of an IG to be able to conduct this election in the sense that policing this election. That statement that we not get open and useless person. I think for retractor, and I'm calling for his resignation, and we are going to move for his resignation. Okay, because a very sensitive position in it, not only security of our people, but the security of this nation. We don't come far too far for a senior police, the most senior police officer, for call the main opposition party that we are idlers. I know he is that word panel because I'm more responsible, I'm more respected, and I'm more learned than him. With all due respect to him. For him to use that word, we take great exception to that. And we are going to write to all the international people and even the government that he needs to be removed. He does show clear partiality and he cannot handle.
And this is what Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr represents, the voice of the people today in Sierra Leone. It's sad, but that's what it is. But the leaders of the opposition, when they see them, they cannot come out here and talk for the international world to know the pains of the people. You know why? Because they don't respect the people. They don't care about the people. That is the fundamental thing. Because if they care about the people and the position where they defend themselves and the responsibilities and the enormous powers that they control, I'm telling you guys, Marabi will not destroy Sierra Leone by himself. For the past 4 years and 5 years of the sufferings of our people, it is not done by Marabio alone. And that is why, again, the fight to get rid of Marabio is going to take all of these leaders put together to lead the fight forward. People like the Cherry Kokos, the Honorable Chiro Majuba of the APC, the Kande Yumkelas, every member of parliament, it is their responsibility to lead us in this fight to get rid of Marabio. Marabio no puede alone by himself. He has aiders and abettors in that parliament. Parliament is the supreme legislative authority. These guys make laws. They have 3 responsibilities: to represent the people, to oversight, and to make laws. Those are the 3 responsibilities of parliament. Simple, straightforward. But what have they done today? People are all over the country locked up in jail cells, overcrowded prison systems. Medical systems is crappy. None of them are doing anything about it. I've never seen a member of parliament pay a courtesy visit to Parema Road prisons. I've never seen a member of parliament pay a courtesy visit to Connors Hospital or PCMH, Cottage Hospital. I've never seen a member of parliament visit a school just to see what the schools look like under this free nonsense education that they have. Never seen that in Sierra Leone. And that is the responsibility, oversight, representing the people, protecting the people. But Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr has been playing that pivotal role. And that is why it's crucial. And that is why it's important to point these things out. That is what people like myself do. But guys, let me show you guys something. Because let's switch this conversation. Let's get into the registration process. I want you guys to see. Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr further went to tweet. She tweeted about the registration that has been announced by NEC. And I want us to, share this together. Let's see this together. Let me put this on the screen here for you guys. Because I want us to see this together. We're all going to share this, guys. We are all going to share this together. That is what we're going to do here. I want you guys to see this. So this is a thread of tweets from Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr again. And it shows what she's doing. Let me get myself off the screen for a second here so you guys can see everything. But guys, this is it right here. Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr tweeted. She said, at ECSL Sierra Leone, that is NEC, right? Today published final voter registration figures for Freetown of 598,022. According to Statistics Sierra Leone 2021 census, the population is 609,174. So according to official government data, 98% of the total population of Freetown registered to vote. Criteria to vote is greater than 18 years and Sierra Leone citizens. So what Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr is actually pointing out now, final numbers from NEC to say the population of Freetown is 598,000 people. But according to Statistics Sierra Leone, the population of Freetown is 609,000. You shouldn't get it. Then they twist themselves into pretzel to make up these figures, but it's backfiring in their face. Everybody is seeing these things now. I want to go say the population of Freetown, according to the NEC, their own registration, they're saying that 598,000 people and they're registered at Freetown. 98 at Freetown. No, so. But Statistics Sierra Leone, but then fake census. Now, don't forget, say the census was dropped by World Bank and the European Union. They condemned that census day. They say the population census says we have 609,174 people. So according to the official government data, 98% of the total population of Freetown registered to vote, which is not possible because you get for things say the voter age is 18 and over, and these are only nationals of Sierra Leone, right? Because when you check the census can capture a broad more data, and this is why we tell these guys you cannot conflate the two, the voter register and the civil register. You cannot mix them because Statistics Sierra Leone is dealing with the housing population census. You cannot mix those with, the voter register of NEC. And this is what we see here. So 609,000 people, according to Statistics Sierra Leone, is whom, is the Freetown population. But then NEC pool say now 598,000 people actually register na Freetown. So it means say everybody in Freetown don't reach the age of 18. And let's further go with the tweet from the mayor because it further explains these things. Let's see this. It say based on Freetown ECL voter registration 598,000 and statistics that there are only 11,000 children under 18 years in Freetown. But that going over what they said, giving the NEC register, which is 598,000, and then Statistics Sierra Leone, being 609,174, it means there are only 11,000 children under the age of 18 in Freetown. Where that is ridiculous. But according to the government's 22 school survey, there were 413,000 children enrolled in schools. Guys, when I see where the numbers not add up, when I see because of corruption, because these guys, they've been fighting to crook the election figures for so long. And this is the beauty of why I'm pointing out these things from Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr. Because I want you guys to see that people like her, deserve, the unflinching, standing ovation from Sierra Leoneans in times like these. She deserves it. For her to be taking her time to put this data together, it makes people like us, our work becomes very easy. And this is the beauty of what we're talking about. So when you look at Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr, with all of these numbers she's putting out there, when not even the leaders of the opposition can put these calculations together and bring it out to us in this analytic manner, not even the leaders of the opposition can do this. To put these facts together like this. This is so simple and it's breakdown. It's so, when I see this, I'm like, no, I have to do it live. This lady has done the job for me already, for me to be putting up all this, because sometimes it's overwhelming. You cannot, but this is just beautiful. What kind of shame and disgrace is this to our beloved nation? Look at how these guys are twisting themselves into pretzel to rig the elections. And the international community, I want you guys to pay attention to this. Ambassador David Reimer, Mr. Muller, and Lisa Chesney. Look at these numbers. People should ask questions. Now, if I was in a serious country, in a serious democracy, the leader of the opposition, especially that of the APC, Honorable Chino Majuba, should summon both the statistics, Sierra Leone, the boss, and that of the NEC, the boss, to Parliament, using Section 86(2) of the Constitution. It should summon both of these people to come to Parliament to testify. The Speaker shall, if he uses Section 86(2), let him come and reconcile these numbers. Because they have to reconcile these numbers. This is in banking. This is what you call proper reconciliation. We have to reconcile. These numbers are not tying up. We balance sheet, not go balance. Mayor Aki-Sawyerr, I think she did accounting. So she would understand. You guys would understand exactly where I'm going with this. We have to balance this balance sheet properly. At this particular point in time, this balance sheet is not going to balance under no circumstances. And we have to get these numbers to balance out. Talk about NEC voter register. You said that 598,000 people that are on a register at Freetown. That are registered at Freetown. But then statistics here will say the population of Freetown is 609,174. Okay, so which means 98% of the people in Freetown that are registered for vote. 98%. That means they're picking already. Because we also get picking them. Well, according to, you look again, the mayor went further until we say, according to the statistics from the school, inside Freetown alone, we have 413,407. So these numbers are not adding up. And this is the beauty of what Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr did here. To break this thing down, this thing deserves, this tweet deserves. And by the way, you guys, I hope you guys are on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you're watching this live. When we're done, do what you have to do. Follow Twitter. Get on Twitter. Install Twitter. Learn get Twitter. Follow myself. Follow people like Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr. See what they do. See what we do on Twitter. Because there's a lot of information that you could learn as well. Make sure you get a short handle. Waiting at the handle what we talk about. Let me show you now for you guys to see what I'm talking about. You want to look at my handle right here. Let me put this on the biggest screen for you guys. So this is my handle right here. Let me handle this at Fona High B. You see that? It's very simple, straightforward. Right here, guys. That's my handle. That is what you do. You look for them on Twitter. You follow me on Twitter. You join on Twitter and do the same for Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr. And so you can get on a Twitter. This is what our Twitter page looks like, and this is what our handle. This is what our handle looks like, right here. Also, I don't highlight, so I don't cover. But it's, as you guys can see, at Yaki-Sawyerr. That is a Twitter handle. Follow her, see what she does, see what she tweets on a daily basis. Learn from her. Take these facts, get this information. She is a treasure trove of wealth of information. Anyway, she has all that. We give it to her. But guys, I just want to point these things out to you guys because I want you guys to see this reality.